Anyone got any tissues before we start?
Thirty seconds left.
No, write it down now. You got that now. You do however you prefer to go. So alphabetically it would be after day, JKL.
Okay, go for it, yeah.
Or you can go, do it after day.
I'll do it after day.
Okay.
I'll get better.
Are you speaking about your foot?
Move to the end.
No.
Right, I'll move because I've left us to the end. Okay. Well, I think I'll address the fact that I'm not doing particularly well at leaving speeches this week. Last time I was set up here, I think that I may have cried a little bit more than I thought I was going to. But I think that sort of sums up that when I do speak, I do quite like to speak from the heart. And sometimes I get emotional. But I wanted to start this by talking about first impressions. Because my first impression of coming to university was someone who'd come from quite a sheltered background. I went and I sat in the Duck and Scholar for the really infamous introductory talk, and Matt Wellock, who used to manage the bar, said, well, if you come down and do the quiz on Sunday, you could win 1,000 bottles of beer. And I thought, that sounds quite good. And then this rather strong Yorkshire accent just shouted out, what kind of beer? To which he replied, it's Carlsberg. And this guy replied with something which I don't think I should say because it's being recorded. And I was a bit sort of concerned because I knew that I was living in a block with this person. I never actually thought that this person would turn out to be one of my absolute best friends and my RA president, because of course it was Jack Dart. We know him well and we do love him. But I think my first impression of the Guild was obviously the Medical Bank RAs of 2011, so Johnny Dolan, Hannah Varley, Adam Page, Andrew Tawari, Rose Stone. You're the reason I'm here at the end of the day. You're the first people that a lot of people meet when they get to university, and somehow the 7 of them believed me into becoming an RA, and I think that's where the journey really started. Then, of course, I couldn't do a leaving speech without mentioning Carnival Rag. It's been difficult years here with Carnival, and I'm quite sorry about the way that I might have acted at times when I've had to make difficult decisions between my job and my friends. I haven't always been entirely professional, and I'm quite sorry about that. But I'm looking forward to just having my friends back and not having the work side of it coming soon. And then, obviously had the infamous Domino's Dave campaign where apparently I ate a lot of pizza, and according to other people I had a really good marketing idea, so make of that what you will. I think also I've got to mention Zuki. He was my VPHC when I was an innocent Maple Bank RA who didn't really know anything, he just wanted to do a bit of volunteering and raise some money. And then I wanted to break a world record for the most people tossing pancakes. And certain members of staff who, now 3 years down the line, clearly knew a lot more than me, said, don't be stupid, it's not going to work, it's going to cost a lot of money. But I'm a stubborn person, and I went and complained to my VPHC, and we sat with Jack Dart and some of the other staff for an hour and a half, and I got my way. And we did a world record attempt, and we didn't break the world record, so staff were right. I think that's the first and only time I'm ever going to say that, but staff were right. But Zuki sort of, for me, set the bar as to what a VPHC should do. He should, you should offer that support when people come to you and need it, and hopefully that's what I've done this year. And then, Zuki and I then, across second year, had a lot of breakfasts and semi sausage where I undenied my run to be a sabbatical officer, and then the vet offer came and we had a chat, and I was like, I'm not going to do it, and then it was like, I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it, and then ultimately I did do it. And obviously James Robertson was my successor, my predecessor even. He's not coming back. And it's going to be one of these speeches where I say sorry to a lot of people. I'm really sorry for the way I acted to you, James, when I was an RA. I didn't get the bigger picture. I still am, really stubborn and quite insolent. But now that I've sat on this side and in the office upstairs, I think I get that sometimes you have to make difficult decisions and tell people things that they don't want to hear. And I've got so much more respect for you now that I've done the job that you had to do. So I'm really sorry for getting up and shouting at you in the middle of Residence. I think that there are some great things going on like in the world housing community at the moment. We launched a new RA scheme this year, and for me it's the RA scheme that I wanted to see, and there were a lot of meetings and a lot of stress, and yes, I did go to hospital probably as a result of it and working too hard, but you guys know how I feel about it. I'm really proud, and I think you've been fantastic. And I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to start crying. But I just really hope that you feel like you're on the way to get the recognition you deserve now. Thanks to Guild TV, we're going to have a fantastic video of some of the great events that you've done, and I'm really glad that Rob decided to come and film it, all the crazy events that you do. And yeah, we had a really fun day where we jumped off a lot of things and climbed a lot of ropes, and some of us have more of a fear of heights than others. But for me, probably the crowning jewel of my year was the Article 4 campaign. It was something which I wasn't sure a lot of students were really going to care about, but we got over 1,000, in fact we nearly got 1,500 people to sign our petition and stand up and actually get the student voice heard. I think that's a lot of power. It's what being SAB can do. It's motivating people, getting voices heard, and letting the council know that they're absolute idiots. We did like voter registration as well with Big Live, and I'm really happy with how we've done with that. I convinced two of my friends to dress as polar bears, and Jack played a wonderful landlord in that infamous video. I don't think I've got a career in voice impressions. One thing that I haven't really mentioned all year, which I am incredibly proud of, is Poppy and I sat down with some members of House, and we've sort of got an agreement whereby going forwards we're looking at green initiatives in halls, and that should be manifesting itself as some pretty awesome solar panels on all of the villages, with the savings that come from that being reflected in the cost of rent. And if that happens, I'll be really proud to come back to Birmingham one day and be like, they're my solar panels. Hopefully Jack can continue some of the work that's been started on taxis. Everyone knows that they really annoy me. I'm not going to say what else to be really safe here, but if we can sort that, it would be brilliant for all the students out there who do get a bit of a reward deal when they get in a taxi. I think this year's been really tough, and I don't think anyone can prepare you for it. I spoke to both the predecessors that I know, and I spoke to a lot of other people I know who've been officers here and elsewhere, and I don't think I was prepared for it. I never thought that being a SAB would be partly responsible for me spending a week in hospital. I never quite thought I'd have slightly less of a social life and see a lot less of the people who I spent 2 years at university with. And being SAB's definitely been detrimental to my liver, but that one's definitely my fault. But that's why I'm all the more thankful to the people who have been my support network throughout the year. It's only right that I start the thank yous with the campaign team, and it's got to start with Sam Foster. I know that you can't be here, and I know that you couldn't come to Bradbull. I mean, you're on a year abroad, and it would be quite an expensive plane to come back and hear me talk for a bit. But you were the first person I told I wanted to run, and the fact that you didn't laugh at me and say go away and be a vet just sort of sums up the amount of support that you've given me. And this year as well, you've always been on the end of the phone. And of course there was that one time where I was so tired in campaigning that I passed out and then woke up and you told me you'd filmed the campaign video, and it was a video that got like 1,000 views and probably won me the election. So it's always good to impersonate 3 adverts and have a dancing pony. I've got to mention Georgie. Ironically, she's not here because she's producing a play, which sums up the first time I met her, because she was up to her neck in it to produce Little Shop of Horrors, but she became one of the main members of the campaign team She's the reason I had any banners at all. She's also the person who volunteered to come out door knocking in Selly Oak when it was about 0 degrees and didn't complain when I was like, let's just do one more road about 5 times and conked her into doing all of Selly Oak in one evening. And I'm still a bit upset that Georgie didn't propose to do Starlight Express as the GMTG musical. But you know, you might see if she can do it in the rest of the song. And then, well, I couldn't do a leaving speech without mentioning one person, Dr. Tim Lucas. I was on Tim's campaign team, and then 2 days before the nomination deadline, I sent a text being like, we need to go for a pint. And I sat down and I told him I was going to run and that I was pulling out helping him. And he really didn't mind, he was fully behind it, he helped me out a lot. We filmed a really interesting video where he nearly killed me, but I think that's what happens when anyone tries to do the cinnamon challenge with a ladle instead of a teaspoon. And yeah, I know I bottled the agreement to wear pirate gear to officer results night, but in retrospect it's a good thing because I would have looked like a bit of an idiot on that stage wearing an eye patch and with a peg leg. And I was going to bring something along this evening, and then Sally Dope was just too far away for me to go and walk, so sorry. But even throughout the year when I have lived with you and then when you've moved off to London, you basically have been my mentor, and you know how I feel about it, and I'm not saying anything else, so sorry about that. Probably ought to mention Ed, Amy and Shanika, the emergency RO committee, who I phoned 3 days before we needed them. And I think it's only right that Amy knows quite how much I appreciate it, because I never quite expected she would come back and do it after the election, because I don't think I necessarily was a gracious winner. I was really quite drunk on results night, so we're going to blame it on that. But I'm really glad she came back, and I'm really glad, Ed, you gave it all the help you gave it, and it wouldn't have worked at all without the 3 of you, so thank you very much. And yeah, well, as Molly said, it's tradition to talk about the team. I think I'm going to start with Hattie. I think I owe you the world's biggest apology, because I think I came into this with some really strong preconceptions about who you were, what you believed, how you were going to act, and I think it was really unprofessional of me. Every time I've had to work with you, you've been absolutely fantastic. You've given me the support we needed. I mean, you know, we co-authored the motion stuff and stuff that we agreed on, and I never thought we were going to be able to do that. And I think at the end of the day, I forget that back in 2012, we were sat over there and Zuki sat there, and we were our age, and we did a lot of work together, and we did some really great events, and I'm really sorry that I probably haven't acted entirely professionally this year. And then Vicky, I think, again, it's going to be another apology. RA Sport, the intramural stuff, I feel like I let you and Tim and Jimmy down a bit. But I know that Jack's got some really good ideas and that it'll go back to what it should be. I think I was more focused on saving the scheme, and I'm sorry that sport first started outside of that. But you've been a great friend this year. I mean, events like yesterday at Eclipse, it's always great friends doing it out with you, so it's always great. Molly. I know that like we have a bit of a joke that I always take it out of the office every time you walk in, and obviously that's the whole Northern thing, but at the end of the day you are one of my greatest friends. I wouldn't spend 3 and a bit days backpacking across the world, probably with anybody else. Poland's a terrible place and I'm never going back even if it's with you. I'm sorry about it. I'm sorry, but if you ended up dropped in the countryside quite where we were, I think after 60 hours, even the strongest man who lost his nation would have been reduced to tears. I'm saying, the next day when we actually went and had a look down, it's beautiful.
That's safe.
Yeah, like campaigning, and I really didn't like that hat when you were campaigning. I didn't quite work out why you couldn't have just bought a hat. But, I think the hat's grown on me, and I think that, I think our friendship's grown as well, and it's great. It's a real shame that obviously Tom can't be here. Again, I feel like I could have engaged with him a bit more, but I know that he was really excited when we worked to do some green initiatives and rules, and I think he loves those solar panels more than I do, but they've got my name on, so he's not having them. Okay. I think it was difficult, not when we actually started in office, but that period straight after elections, because I always thought that he didn't like me because I was really good friends with him, and then we actually had a conversation and I realised that that wasn't true and that you're a fantastic person. I wouldn't have wanted anybody else to be my president because you're hands off when people are happy to get on and do their own thing. But I always know that if I need your support, for instance, with emergency RAs and when one particular member of university management tried to cancel an event that I really wanted to do because of stuff that I hadn't been involved in, I don't know what you did, but you went and shouted at him or something, and then he was like, Dave, we've got to go for a coffee, and the event happened. So all you guys actually had a result tonight. So I think that just sums it up, really. I'm sure that we probably got too drunk quite a lot, but it's been brilliant. FA, or as you're affectionately called by quite a lot of people, Gentleman Master Lee. That bar crawl, that's all I'm ever going to say about that bar crawl ever. But I couldn't have asked to share an office with anybody better. You've given me so much support this year from the off when I did go to hospital and you were one of the first people who came to visit. All the way through to picking up support, helping out with like the police stuff, wardens, just the support has been, and I've known that if I've been swamped, you're always happy to help me out. I think Freshers Fest sums up the best when we split it up middle and right. It was a military operation, not by you basically. You knew where we were going to be and what we were going to do, and then the next day, military style, we had a debrief, we knew what we were doing, we worked on it, and we got better for the next day. But I think that the main thing I really realised that it was more than just support you were going to work. It was obviously that infamous incident with the taxi where I decided to phone you at 4 o'clock in the morning, just vent, and then you came and picked me up the next day, and you gave me support all the way through this to the extent that you came to that licensing committee meeting, and I don't know if I could have done that licensing meeting without you sitting across the table from that driver. It's been a complete honour and so much fun this year to work alongside you, to run some really entertaining social events as well, to do a bit of sport, and obviously go on field with some great rounders. Regardless of what anybody else says about us as an officer team and the fact that we might have had some cracks along the way, I think that the memory that I'm going to have of our officer team is that that weekend where we went up north, which is quite scary for me, and we went hiking, which again was quite scary for me because I injured my leg and torn my cartilage. But it was a really great weekend, and I think it sums up how we can be great as a team. And I don't think I'm ever going to walk across a field with somebody playing the Lord of the Rings soundtrack again. I promise everyone I am nearly done now. There were a couple of things I wanted to say to the new team. I know Frankie's obviously up supporting Georgie, but regardless of what Frankie says, I think from the day we became RAs, we knew that he would eventually be a Sab because he loves the guild that much. And he'll be absolutely fantastic, and he's so suited to the role. And then Jack. I'm really sorry for that particular incident where I might have shouted at you once in practice. Yeah, but you've impressed me so much from A, the day when you started to be a member of student staff in the SAC, and B, from the day you won your election. Every time you've come to meetings so far already, you've impressed me so much. I know that you're going to be one of the best VPHCs that the Guild's actually ever seen. And you've got the opportunity to do some really great work with the SAC, which is the area where you just know so much. I'm really looking forward to watching from afar and coming back to results next year and you bragging about all the great things you've done. Ultimately, I know a lot of people wondered why I did run this out, because I had an non-commissioned officer go be a vet, but I wanted to give something back to, well, not really to the university, because I don't really owe the university anything. They couldn't even give me a degree, but to the Guild, because the Guild's the reason I'm still here 3 years after being a freshman moving in. And I think that if one person that I've ever spoken to at this university has had even a small level of impact that the Guild's had on me as a result of me being a sabbatical officer, I think that I'll be really happy, and that's all I really need. And I'm fiercely proud of everything I've done this year, and I'm fiercely proud of everything the team's done. And again, I somehow lost for words for the second time in a week, but it's been absolutely fantastic, and I don't regret it at all, and I don't mind that I'm not going to graduate till I'm 26, because I think this year is more than worth 1 year off my career range for the experience and everything that I've got. I'm going to cry, so it's all good.